Desde el Centro de Noticias en Toronto, El Mundo al Instante, Latin Canada TV Noticias.
Y nos visitó en Latin Canada TV Robbie Stock Jr., creador de la fundación Yo Hablo con Extraños. Natalia Bravo dialogó con él y nos contó sobre esta maravillosa idea que lo ha llevado por innumerables países, compartiendo cultura y hablando con extraños.
Bienvenidos a latincanada.tv. Nos encontramos con el fundador, el director del movimiento de la fundación I Talk to Strangers, Yo Hablo con Extraños. Regresamos a latincanada.tv. Robbie, gracias. Thank you for being here in latincanada.tv. Quiero empezar. I want to start asking you, what is ITTS?
Well, very simple. First, again, gracias for allowing me to be here. ITTS, I Talk to Strangers, is an idea, a simple idea. What would really happen if the world decided to talk to each other? And what I've seen just through a very short amount of time, that amazing things do happen when we decide to communicate.
Robbie Stocks Jr. dejó su trabajo en la Casa de Representantes en el Capitolio como coordinador de eventos para convertirse en un líder global. Y es que no fue fácil para Robbie tomar esa decisión, pero su sueño de construir un mundo sin barreras de idiomas, cultura, raza, estatus social, político y económico lo llevó a fundar y dirigir ITTS Foundation, la fundación Yo Hablo con Extraños.
Idea is difficult, but it wasn't difficult to make. It was difficult to execute because I did have to give up everything to really go forth on something that I truly believed in. And once I made the effort to do it, I really saw the true challenge of change, which is effort, continuous sacrifices, fighting through the pain, fighting through the hard days, only to see the reward of that new conversation or that new relationship that was developed along the way.
So did that idea came from you leaving that job?
That idea really came from just really growing up. My best friend is 72 years old. And from that alone, that it gave me the idea of how can I connect, as at the time I was 23, he was 67, how can I connect with somebody who's generations away from me? But that conversation allowed me to understand that we can connect. So that one relationship really sparked an idea that we can talk to anybody about anything when both people are willing to listen.
And how did you decide to start the ITTS movement?
Really, it was just, I had to define it, and I wanted to say I did something cool in my 20s. So I said, hey, let me start producing a shirt that says I talk to strangers and start a cool idea, never really understanding how big of a concept it was or how revolutionary of a concept it was. If people of different backgrounds, cultures, races, genders, nationalities had a conversation, how much could they share? How much could they learn from each other?
How practical is this movement for an everyday person, for me, for example?
It's very practical. I think that it's less about the practicality, but more about the understanding of overcoming the fear of a stranger. I think that no matter where we are in life, that term stranger always had a negative connotation. Don't talk to somebody you don't know. Don't trust somebody you don't know. But why? So when I started asking the question why, there wasn't a good answer. There were a lot of answers of fear that were either artificially or internally created that made people not connect. But when you overcome that fear, you understand that people are all the same. We all want the same things in life. We all cherish the same things in life. And when we have the opportunity of sharing that, there's peace among two individuals. So the concept grew in my mind of maybe there can be peace among groups, civilizations, cultures, maybe in the world.
And how positive the reaction has been to ITTS from the people around the globe?
The idea has been very supportive, but the challenges have been also as difficult because the challenges are ingrained. Like, you just don't tell somebody to go talk to a stranger because then they say, are you going to tell kids to talk to strangers? What happens if people get hurt? And you have to understand also that life is what it is. It's a game of chance. It's a game of probability. There is a percentage of things going wrong, but should you be fearful of a small percentage? Because then you're missing out on the great opportunities from the larger percentage. So the hardest part is really getting people to understand the concept of overcoming a fear of something small to take advantage of something great that's something so large. When people understand that, that's when they start to really embrace it, because the possibility of greatness is sometimes bigger than the fear of regret.
Robbie se ha recorrido el mundo conociendo extraños mientras documenta su travesía en un libro y un documental que será transmitido muy pronto en las carteleras de cine. También participa en numerosas charlas animando a todo el que se reúne para hablar con extraños. Continuamos en latincanada.tv con Robbie Stocks Jr., el director y fundador del movimiento de la fundación I Talk to Strangers, Yo Hablo con Extraños. Robbie, yo quiero hacerte una pregunta y the question is, the experience of being in 37 countries, how has that changed your view of life and has impacted the movement I Talk to Strangers?
Really, to start personally, I think that as an individual, I just wanted to see the world. I think everybody wants to see the world. The mystery of being able to explore and see different things and see different people took care of an internal desire and educated me. But I think from an ITTS standpoint, it really showed me the gravity of how important the message is, because you can take a single idea as, does the world need to communicate, as a question, and ask anybody around the world, and they all agree. That's what traveling taught me, is that not only is this something that works in my home country, the United States, it works in England, it works in France, it works in Malaysia, it works in Australia, but it took me to actually take it there to prove and validate that this is not just a theory or concept.
Bueno, yo estoy interesada, o me interesa saber un poquito sobre la película. I'm interested about knowing in the movie that it's named I Talk to Strangers. So what's the movie about, and where can we see the movie?
Well, the movie is really the capture of that experience of going to these different countries, meeting strangers, but also having video evidence of what happened when the introduction of the thought was made to a country around the world. The movie right now, I just put part 1 up for free on YouTube. So you can check out our YouTube page, ITTS Foundation, and really it just answers all the questions. Who am I? Why did I do it? What did I do? And what's going to happen next? But the whole movie will be able to complete the thought of, it started with a guy who quit his job in DC and sold everything, backpacked around the world. But the second part of the movie that we'll save for movie theaters, what happened? And you'll start seeing how it was celebrated around the world, how different groups and different people celebrated an idea that was born in a thought sitting in an office in Washington, D.C. There's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. I never dreamed that mine would take me this far.
Now, what kind of activities does ITTS makes or has in order to create those relationships between people around the globe?
That's a great question. Right now, there's a 4C structure. That's our initiatives: campus, community, corporate, and culture. 4 different areas that I really cultivated from my own personal experiences of how I Talk to Strangers can influence a community or a society or a business. And right now, those programs can range from a stranger social, which is a cool way of saying, hey, let's get people together and get them to communicate. And maybe we'll have different card games or different prompts to get them to communicate. They love that. Or going into an educational setting and doing a dorm dare, a scavenger hunt that allows freshmen and incoming students to, hey, go find somebody who's wearing school paraphernalia, or go find somebody of a different race, have a conversation with them. Make it a game so it promotes the same idea that as people talk, things get better. Same thing within the communities, working with local governments on how communication using technology can help foster a better community, but also in the corporate realm of making sure that corporations understand giving back to the community and supporting a community will also support business. So all these different programs under these different initiatives help drive the one message, which is bringing the world together through conversation.
And I think our viewers want to know, where can we find ITTS?
You can find ITTS literally everywhere. ITTS or italktostrangers.com is our website. Usually you can find what's the latest happening. We have Instagram, ITTS Foundation. We have YouTube, ITTS Foundation. Twitter, ITTS Foundation. But sometimes, the funny thing is that you'll actually find it just walking down the street. Where you'll see somebody in I Talk to Strangers t-shirt. You're going to say, I heard about that. So we're excited that is the type of impact that we're going to start having on the world. Yeah, I wanted to have some kind of impact to change the world, but lately I've been hearing that the true impact is connecting the world. My whole journey now to lead a movement was to do it by example. So I just came up with this crazy idea of traveling, talking to strangers. I sold everything.
Gracias, Robbie. Thank you, Robbie, for being here in Latin Canada. Bueno, y usted ya lo sabe, el lema de I Talk to Strangers, yo hablo con extraños, es poder derribar esa barrera del idioma, la raza, el género y la cultura.
My name is Robbie Stokes here in LatinCanada.tv, and we speak with strangers. Y esto cambió mi vida.
El mundo al instante. Latin Canada TV Noticias. Porque nos oyen, nos ven y nos creen.